Welcome to Woman's Secret Signals, where silence speaks louder than words and every behavior has a hidden meaning. If you've ever felt confused by a woman's mixed signals, if you've ever wondered whether she's truly interested or just enjoying the attention, then you're exactly where you need to be, because here we don't guess feelings, we decode them. We break down female psychology, hidden emotional patterns, and the real signals women don't say out loud, but always show. Stay tuned, because what you learn here might completely change how you see relationships forever. If you're watching this, there's a high chance you're already confused about where you stand with her. One day she's warm, engaging, and makes you feel like you matter. The next day she disappears emotionally, gives short replies, or acts like you're just another option. And here's the uncomfortable truth most men don't want to accept. Sometimes she doesn't like you. She likes the attention you give her. Not you, not your personality, not your effort, just the validation, the ego boost, the emotional backup you provide. Now, before you get defensive, understand this isn't about blaming women. This is about understanding human psychology, especially the difference between genuine emotional interest and attention-based attachment. Because attention feels like connection, but it isn't always real connection. When a woman is genuinely into you, there's consistency, effort, emotional investment. She doesn't make you guess. You feel it in her actions, not just her words. But when she's only into the attention you give her, the pattern looks very different. She engages when she's bored. She replies when she needs validation. She flirts when she wants emotional stimulation. But she disappears when real emotional depth is required. And the most dangerous part? She might not even realize she's doing it. In modern dating culture, attention is everywhere. Likes, messages, DMs, compliments. Some people get addicted to being desired, not to the person desiring them. It becomes a cycle of emotional stimulation without real commitment. So what does that mean for you? It means you could be investing emotionally into someone who is only borrowing your attention, not building a connection with you. And this is where most men get stuck. They start overanalyzing. Maybe she's just busy. Maybe she's not good at texting. Maybe I need to try harder. But the reality is simpler and harsher. When someone is genuinely interested, you don't have to decode their behavior. It feels clear, stable, mutual. When you constantly feel like you're figuring her out, you're already in an uneven emotional dynamic. This video will break down 7 clear psychological signs that she is not emotionally invested in you and is instead feeding off your attention. Not to make you bitter, not to make you paranoid, but to make you aware. Because once you see these patterns clearly, you stop chasing confusion and start recognizing clarity, and clarity is where your power returns. Now let's get into the first 2 major psychological signs that she's not emotionally invested in you, but is instead using your attention for validation. Sign number 1. Her attention comes in hot and cold waves. This is one of the clearest emotional manipulation patterns, even when it's unintentional. One moment she's fully engaged, replying fast, laughing at your messages, showing interest. Then suddenly, she disappears emotionally. Short replies, delayed responses, no energy, no curiosity. And then, just when you start pulling away, she comes back warm again. This cycle creates emotional confusion, and confusion is addictive because your brain starts trying to solve her. You begin thinking, what changed? Did I do something wrong? Why is she acting different now? But here's the truth. When someone is truly interested, their energy is consistent, not unpredictable. Hot-cold behavior usually means she enjoys the effect she has on you, not the actual relationship with you. When she feels your attention decreasing, she re-engages just enough to keep you emotionally hooked. Not enough to build something real, just enough to keep you available. This is attention dependency, not emotional connection. Sign number 2. She only engages when it benefits. Her emotionally pay close attention to when she shows up. Does she talk to you when she's bored, when she's feeling lonely, when she needs validation or emotional comfort? But when life is good for her, when she's busy, social, or getting attention elsewhere, she suddenly becomes distant? That's not a coincidence. That's selective emotional usage. You're not being treated like a priority. You're being used as an emotional backup source. Think of it like this: a genuinely interested woman includes you in her life. An attention driven woman accesses you when needed. She might like your presence, but she doesn't build her life around it. Instead, she dips in and out depending on her emotional state. And here's where men get trapped. Because those occasional moments of warmth feel so real, they ignore the long gaps of emotional distance. But relationships are not built on moments, they are built on consistency. The psychological trap. Hot cold behavior triggers something called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You don't know when you'll get attention, so you keep trying. You don't know when she'll be warm again, so you stay engaged. And slowly, without realizing it, you start chasing potential instead of reality. Now that you understand hot cold behavior and selective attention, let's go deeper into two more patterns that expose whether she truly values you or just enjoys the attention you provide. Sign number 3, you feel emotionally useful, not chosen. This is a subtle but powerful psychological shift. You don't feel like a priority in her life. You feel like a resource. She talks to you when she's stressed. She comes to you when she needs comfort. She opens up emotionally when she feels low. But when she's happy, busy, or surrounded by others, you suddenly fade into the background. That's emotional convenience. And here's the key difference: a woman who is into you shares her life with you. A woman who is only using attention shares her emotions with you. There's a difference between being part of her life and being her emotional outlet. If you notice, she only gets deep when she needs support, but never invests in your life the same way. You're not in mutual connection. You're in emotional imbalance. And over time, this creates a quiet frustration inside you. I'm always there for her, but she's not really there for me. That feeling is not random, it's a signal. Sign number 4, there is no clear direction in the connection. One of the strongest signs she's not emotionally invested is this: the relationship never moves forward. You talk, you connect, you have moments, but nothing evolves. No clarity, no labels, no deeper commitment, no real progression. It stays stuck in a loop of almost something. And when you try to bring clarity, she avoids it, jokes around it, or changes the topic. Why? Because clarity creates responsibility. And someone who is only enjoying attention avoids responsibility. She may keep you close emotionally, but she won't define what you are because definition limits options. So instead, she keeps things vague. You're important to me. I just need time. I don't like labels. But notice, none of these statements create direction. They only maintain access. And that's the key psychological pattern. She wants the emotional benefits of connection without the commitment of one. The emotional reality. When someone is genuinely interested, you don't have to ask, "Where is this going?" Because their actions already show direction. But when you're constantly stuck in uncertainty, it usually means one thing: you are being kept in a space that benefits her emotional needs, not a shared relationship goal. At this stage, the pattern becomes harder to ignore. It's no longer just mixed signals or emotional confusion. It becomes about how much access she actually gives you to her real life. And this is where emotional intention becomes very clear. Sign number 5, you're not fully included in her real life. One of the strongest indicators that a woman is not emotionally invested is simple. You exist in her private space, not her real world. You talk, you connect, you share moments, but there's a boundary she never lets you cross. You're not really introduced into her daily life. Her close circle doesn't know much about you. You're not part of her real plans. You're not integrated into her future conversations. Instead, you stay in a separate emotional category, kept at a distance from her actual life. And here's the psychology behind it. When someone is truly interested, they naturally start merging lives. Friends get mentioned, plans get shared. You slowly become part of their world without forcing it. But when someone is only enjoying attention, they keep you in a controlled space where interaction is convenient but not deep. It creates emotional safety for them because you can be accessed without commitment. Sign number 6, Everything happens on her terms. This is another very important behavioral pattern. You notice that the connection is always dictated by her mood, her timing, and her availability. She replies when she feels like it. She calls when it suits her. She disappears when she's busy. She reappears when she's bored, and you slowly adjust your behavior around her schedule. That's not a balanced connection. That's emotional control through inconsistency. And the most important part, you start accepting it as normal. You start telling yourself she's just independent. She's busy. She's not a phone person. But deep down, you already feel the imbalance. You just don't want to accept it yet. Because when someone is genuinely interested, effort is not one-sided. They don't only show up when it's convenient, they make space for you consistently, even in small ways. But when attention is the main motivator, the connection becomes selective and self-serving. She engages when she wants validation. She withdraws when she doesn't need it. And you stay in a loop of waiting, adjusting, and hoping for consistency that never stabilizes. The emotional pattern. You must notice. At this stage, the connection stops feeling like a relationship and starts feeling like access granted at random emotional interaction on demand. No real security or predictability, and that's the core difference. A real connection feels stable even when it's not perfect. An attention-based connection feels unstable even when it looks good. Now we reach the final and most important sign, the one that ties everything together. Because once you understand this, you stop overthinking her behavior and start seeing the situation clearly for what it is. Sign number 7. She keeps you emotionally attached but never moves toward commitment. This is the ultimate pattern of attention-based connection. She doesn't fully reject you, but she also doesn't choose you. Instead, she keeps you in a constant in-between space, not close enough to feel secure, not distant enough to let go. You stay emotionally invested while she stays emotionally uncommitted. And this creates a dangerous illusion. You think there is potential, but in reality, there is only maintenance. She maintains your interest without building a relationship. Here's how it usually looks. She gives you just enough attention to keep hope alive. She shares just enough emotion to feel connected. She avoids defining anything serious. She never fully invests in building a future with you. And the key psychological reason is simple. She enjoys the attention, but not the responsibility that comes with emotional commitment. The hidden truth. Most men miss. When a woman is truly into you, you don't need to decode her intentions. There is clarity in her behavior. She chooses you consistently. She makes effort without being asked. She includes you in her world naturally. She shows direction, not confusion. But when she's only attached to attention, the pattern is completely different. You feel emotionally involved, but not emotionally secure. You feel connected, but not chosen. You feel close, but not prioritized. And that emotional gap is where most men get stuck for months, or even years. Why it's so hard to leave this situation because the connection is not empty. It has moments, it has chemistry, it has emotional highs, but those moments are not proof of love. They are episodes of attention exchange, and that's why it feels addictive. Your brain keeps remembering the good moments and ignoring the inconsistency in between. So you stay, hoping the good version of her becomes permanent. But consistency is not something you have to earn from someone who truly values you. It is something they naturally give. Final reality check. If you take everything from this video and reduce it to one sentence, it's this. Interest creates consistency. Attention creates confusion. And confusion is not a sign of depth, it's a sign of imbalance. You are not meant to chase clarity from someone who is genuinely interested in you. You are meant to receive it naturally. Closing message. If you recognize these signs in your situation, don't respond with anger or ego. Respond with awareness. Because the real power is not in trying harder, it's in seeing clearly. And once you see clearly, you stop investing in uncertainty and start choosing yourself instead of waiting to be chosen.